Good morning, Americans and humans. This is your favorite alien here on the morning of Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. Stand by for commentary. Well, today's commentary, Americans, is on the end of the world. Yeah. There's a lot of people from obnoxious to mediums to Nostradamus and the lady from Eastern Europe, Anadanga. I hope I pronounced that right. But there was also scientists, a physicist named Reese, and of course, the letter from Isaac Newton, or should I say Sir Isaac Newton. So today it's Newton's letter. Well, Isaac Newton, for the most part in his life, 1682 to 1727, was a British physicist, basically. And he came up with the law of gravity. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah. You know Isaac Newton. He was number one game until the 20th century when old Albert came around. Einstein with the theory of relativity. Yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah. And Mr. Einstein took over. Mr. Newton was relegated to second banana. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mr. Newton was a scientist. And what you called in the late 18th century, or late 17th, early 18th century, he was a environmentalist, or, well, not really that, not quite there, but he was somewhat of an environmentalist. But he was more into science and away from religion, basically, for most of his life. That's why in 1704, when this letter was published, oh boy, did it cause a stir. Big time. And today, when it was reintroduced in 2003, and one of his very ardent supporters and cohort named Stephen Snowbellen in 2003 was trying to show the dumb American people at the time, that Isaac Newton was more than just a scientist. But can you imagine if you're an enlightened person, as you call themselves? The Age of Enlightenment, which started in the late 17th, and by the middle of the 18th century, it had taken hold. And you remember the Age of Enlightenment? I mean, you had the old Ben Franklin and his electronic, put a kite up there and electricity. Those kind of enlightenments. But Sir Isaac Newton, when he wrote that letter in 1704, he predicted the end of the world would come in 2060. Hey, don't get mad at poor Sir Isaac Newton. He was almost to the point there. He missed it by 5 years. Oh, Mr. Newton, if you're in the grave and you're listening to this, you missed it by 5 years. Yo-ho! But see, mine will be around, because when I visited your world in 2066, after the Mushka in July 22nd, 2065, made a mincemeat out of what you call the Earth. Ooh, boy, did it look different. I'll tell you. This one reporter from ITN, it was still around in 2065. I was surprised about that. Boy, yeah. It said, quote, and I guess I was here before too because I didn't realize it at the time when I heard this report. Oh, there was this crazy guy in the early 2020s who said that he came from another planet and that the Earth would be destroyed by a reptilian race named the Mushka on July 22nd, 2065, and that's today. And boy, people, we don't even see them. We just see these flashes coming through the sky and destroying. And when they destroy things, people die miles around. Well, yeah, they were using deadly, lethal particle beam weapons that would destroy your cellular system. So you were gone. No matter if you were humans or any life form that had the cellular system that you have, they didn't care. They didn't put a DNA and say, only humans and we'll leave the other guys alone. The Mushka don't work that way. They want to destroy everything they can. Okay? So, in that respect, Isaac Newton was almost close to the point. Yeah. But you remember me, at least I still got that record, by the way. When I go back to my ship, I'll play it again, of the ITN reporter in July 22nd, 2065, saying, yeah, there was this crazy nut in the early 2020s. Yeah, I love that. And, I didn't know it at the time. I said, oh, really? There was one? He was referring to me. So now when I get back there, I'll know for sure. I'll just laugh and say, yeah, there was a nut back in 2020s. Well, anyway. But back to Sir Isaac Newton. He created a stir in 1704 because, can you imagine saying that the ones that will be alive and survive would be, and this, so some people took it out of context, okay? And they thought he was anti-Semitic, and even today, by 21st century standards, you would say he's anti-Semitic. Boy, but he was not that. He just thought that because Jesus Christ was coming back, and that's what he said, it'll be 1,000 years of peace reign. For the Jewish people. Now, I don't understand Isaac Newton on that part, but that's what he said, and the people took it out of context back in the 1704, and they took it out of context back in 2003. Especially those right-wing evangelical extremist Republicans. According to Mr. Stephen D. Snowbellin. And when I read the stuff from 2003, oh yeah, did those stupid American Republican extremist rightist Republicans, conservative evangelicals, you took it out of context. You got to understand where Mr. Newton was coming for in 1704. He had no crystal ball. He had nothing. He didn't have Mr. Nostradamus with his quatrains that could mystify you by saying this and that. Well, maybe it'll be here, but maybe not. But you can interpret it this way, you can interpret it that way, or you can interpret it any way you want, and it'll be right any way you look at it. Yo! Yeah. So you see, humans and Americans, and especially you dumb American Republicans, extremist rightists, evangelicals, who growled when this report was done in 2003 about almost 300 years before poor Sir Isaac Newton tried to do something good for a change and bring people that say, the earth will be destroyed, but the human race will survive. Well, unfortunately for you evangelical Christians, extremist rightist Republicans, And you extremist leftist Democrats, no, the Earth will not survive. You guys won't be around anyway. You guys will be long extinct. That's the Americans. So this is your favorite alien saying, Yahoo! See, there's a lot of people that have been declaiming your demise here. Good day.